Day today for a change of command. A little bit cooler here in Norfolk and no rain. Admiral Lotring, Lady Donnelly, Commodore Catani, captains, friends and family of Scranton, good morning. I'm truly honored to speak at this change of command. This is where Captain Wes Guinn, Commander Paul Whitescarver will be executing the process of a formal turnover of command of USS Scranton. And for Wes, it's the conclusion of a very successful 3-year tour in command. For Paul, the reward for his sustained superior performance at sea throughout his career. And for both, a time of celebration, a time of reflection, which is always better with family, good friends, and shipmates. With this, I'd like to recognize a few of the very special guests that we have here today. Wes's mom and dad from Arizona, Mr. Hugh McCord, Wes's grandfather, coming all the way from California, the sub-vets from Scranton, Pennsylvania, Katie Whitescarver's father and his wife are here, and Dr. and Mrs. Baker, all the way from Wyoming. And I especially want to recognize Wes's wife Jane and their children David and Alexis, Alex as she likes to be called, and Paul's wife Katie and their children Kyle and Garrett. When President John Adams justified the building of ships in the position of the Secretary of Navy, he said that he envisioned protecting the country with a wall of wood, meaning a strong navy of sailing ships manned by free men who would defend their country against all threats. And it was not long before these ships were called into action, both on our own coast in our war for and to preserve our independence, but also in faraway places such as the Mediterranean against the Barbary pirates. These wooden ships and iron men carried the day, and even now we remember the feats of daring and cunning of those fighting crews and captains. There's John Paul Jones in the battle between the HMS Serapis and USS Bonhomme Richard. When Jones's reply to whether his severely damaged ship had struck her colors, he said, "Struck, sir? Never. I've not yet begun to fight." He is buried at the Naval Academy as a reminder of the importance of leadership and tenacity in our captains. The bold attack by Stephen Decatur into Tripoli Harbor to burn the captured USS Philadelphia demonstrated initiative and cunning. And today, almost every city in America has a Decatur Street. A poor risk management decision on Decatur's part did lead to his death in a duel with his Commodore. That tradition is one we'll leave to history. But his Commodore was a good shot. With his popularity at that time, he quite possibly could have become president. The Battle of Mobo Bay during the Civil War, when Admiral David Farragut, whose first command incidentally was the USS Decatur, ordered "Damn the torpedoes" full speed ahead as he pushed past the perceived impenetrable defenses of the Confederacy. Or the submarine force's own Eugene Fluckey, who, not satisfied with sinking something with all his torpedoes, sent members of the crew of the Barb ashore and attacked a train. That was the only U.S. landing of forces on the Japanese mainland during World War II. The fact is, there are many more ships and crews and captains who have established themselves as experts in their art and we have always cherished and celebrated their fighting spirit. The technology over the years has changed, with sail giving way to coal-fired steam and ultimately to the magnificent warships that you see around you today. The wooden wall that John Adams envisioned has been transformed to steel And the foundation of that wall is right here with ships like USS Scranton. What hasn't changed? The men who sail in these ships are the same stock, with the same fighting spirit as those that sailed with Jones, Decatur, Farragut, and Flecky. They are masters of their deadly art. But even in times of relative peace, our ships and submarines are called to service. Admiral Arleigh Burke, another fighting captain of World War II, and the namesake of the destroyers that you'll see around us here today, once said, quote, "Naval power is a silent power. It's a reminder to our friends that we are near hand and ready to help them. And it is a warning to would-be aggressors. Quiet, but effective." And that's absolutely true today. But add to this the prospects of warships so lethal and so stealthy that they can go anywhere in the world, and our adversaries will not even know they are at risk until they are defeated. Whether these ships are operated in peaceful pursuits as an arm of our State Department, as ambassadors, or in exercises with our allies, make no doubt that these are warships, and their primary function is just that. Every man on Scranton's crew are warriors and have honed their skills and stand ready to protect and defend the Constitution against all enemies. I've had the opportunity to observe USS Scranton for the last 3 years. While at Commander Submarine Force, I was part of the certification team that got the ship ready to deploy on Captain Guinn's first deployment. And again, during the second deployment as Commodore. I don't want to tell too many stories about the captain, but this one seems particularly appropriate. While riding Scranton at sea, the captain welcomed me aboard using the ship's announcing system and concludes, "Let's go, Scranton." And well, that's exactly what happened. There was this defining roar. As the ship prepared for their last deployment, I attended a family deployment night where they discussed support of the families. I got to lead off the evening with my perspective on these important matters, and then Captain Guinn spoke. There are wives, mothers, grandmothers, and a lot of kids. Scranton is the most prolific boat in the squadron. And at the end, the captain calls out, "Let's go, Scranton," in a deafening roar of kill. As I departed, the startled families tried to calm their children. And this may seem a little bit over the top. And I was taken a little bit taken by surprise myself. But as I said, these are iron men from the same stock as Jones, Decatur, Farragut, and Flecky. They are steely-eyed submarine warfare warriors. They know their job and stand ready. Wes Guinn and his team have taken Scranton on 2 highly successful deployments to Central and European command areas of responsibility in the last 3 years. That is a year forward deployed